Wow, how about that? You know what? I suppose when you play with 12 men, it gives you a bit of an advantage, doesn't it? You know. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School Science. My name is Luke, and this is the post-match reaction for Everton versus Man United. Everton 2, Man United 2. Now, before we kick things off, as you know, just giving a nice little shout out here to the Bramley-Moore pub. So, if you don't know, Bramley-Moore pub is the pub that is directly opposite of our brand new stadium. And when you go in there, if you ever go there pre-match, going to be in for a really good time because it's got some great atmosphere, lovely Everton music, and awesome staff, and the people in there are all around are nice, chilled, happy to be there, love Everton and everything like that. But they also do lovely merchandise. So they've got the scarves. They've also got beanies. Now, bear in mind, they've got beanies of all varying colours. This one, a lovely pink one. So, as you can tell, Prince Rupert Tower, 1878, Bramley-Moore. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. But yeah, they don't just do pink ones, by the way. They do them in different colours. So they've got pink, blue, grey. They've got those ones. You've got your nice hoodies. You've got your short sleeve shirts. You've got coasters. They've got clocks. Most things that you can think of, they've got it. And it's Everton merchandise as well as Bramley-Moore advertising. So before you go into the new stadium, get yourself some lovely Bramley-Moore merchandise. And also just mention them. Say to them, hey, Luke's been advertising your stuff on the channel. I like your stuff. I want to buy some stuff. Just let them know that my advertising is actually working. But yeah, right, let's kick things off, shall we? So, first things first, before I came into this match, like with many matches with these, I've got a bit of optimism, but I've also got a bit of nervousness because we do have a tendency when it comes to these sorts of games to sort of throw them away. A guaranteed win is never a guaranteed win for us. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Because for some reason, we either pleasantly surprise ourselves where we come out swinging, and normally we basically grab a big team by the neck and we say to them, right, this is how you play football, mate. Or when it comes to a team that's completely down the luck, we seem to give off our Everton in the community sort of spirit and say to them, you know what, you need these 3 points more than us, come at us. But in this sort of game, it was quite literally a team on the up versus a team that is down on their luck. Because in the first, say, 10 to 15 minutes, we were showing Man U how to play football. We had them run ragged. They didn't look like a team that was up for it. They were just all over the park. They could barely string passes together. They were all over the show, in all honesty. And I think they had one shot on target before we scored, and it was a pretty half-hearted shot. They had a little crack of goal. Pick was able to sort of get down and get a nice easy one onto it. And then around the 15-minute mark, from a corner, we had a little motion in, and we managed to get ourselves a nice little goal, courtesy of Beto. So ball basically got scrambled around the box, lobbed in. Beto was able to get his foot on it. Hit it into the floor and over Onana. Now, bear in mind, this is not Amadou Onana, this is Andre Onana. Bear in mind, Amadou Onana is not paying for Aston Villa. So, yeah, so we got it over Onana, into the goal, and the referee made it his mission to try and find some way to not give that goal. It was and he spent 5 minutes looking at this. VR spent 5 minutes looking at it. They looked at every single possible angle. Now, bear in mind, I was in the stadium, so I didn't actually see this. So, if anyone actually watched the game on TV, so I know a lot of the guys who watch this channel are overseas, so if any of you guys watch this game, can you let me know what in God's name they were doing for 5 minutes? Because I think they were looking at Beto, then you were looking at Lindstrom. What else were they looking at? Because it's mind-blowing. It is honestly mind-blowing that they would try and give an offside for that one. So if anyone knows this one, please let me know. I am genuinely curious. But yeah, after the 1-0, from there, it was just simply a matter of push. We just kept pushing at them, trying to poke holes and everything into the system. Because as we know, when it comes to Man United, right now, every single team in the Premier League knows this right now. When you push at them and you constantly pepper at their defence, holes start appearing. As many Man United fans would say, Maguire is absolutely crap. De Ligt is not exactly great. They're operating with a back three with wing backs at the moment. They've become a back five. So they're using the modern style, but they just don't seem to suit the modern style. They just seem to show holes. So if you've got a decent pace along the wings, or someone in the middle who can get around their defence, in between, make themselves annoying, doing what Beto basically did, then you get yourself an opportunity to score, because their defence, they just seem to, when they're under pressure, their communication breaks down and the holes become apparent. But yeah, so after the first goal, we just kept at them, and then another goal comes from a long ball. A long shot comes in. I can't remember who took the initial shot. Boom. Onana makes a decent save, basically palms it into the air, and then from there, Decore closes straight down onto it, gets his head up, nods it in for a nice, well done goal. And I had to look on the highlights, and it was funny because in the highlights you heard them saying, a lot of commentators or pundits would call this scrappy. I will call this amazing. So I wanted to say this now. If you're watching these games or watching the highlights on YouTube, don't watch it through Sky Sports. Watch it through TNT Sports, because those guys have got a lot more of a level head when it comes to the narrative. The Sky Sports sides of it, they seem to be in favour of the Slice 6 rather than the other 14. They only care about the Slice 6. Sorry, about sneezing. I don't know what it is. I must have some sort of photosensitivity, because anytime I put the lights on and everything to get this going, to get the video going, I go to sneeze, and it's at least once or twice a video. Even when I do takes, if I was to stop this now and start again, at some point, like 10, 15 minutes in, I will go like that and I'll get ready to sneeze. But yeah, so second goal in, great. We had them by the scruff of the neck. We were dictating how we play this game with them. And from there, we sort of, I don't know why, but we eased off on them. So instead of us peppering them again, hitting them as hard as possible, we just become possessive. So we just basically bounced the ball around the middle of the park, brought it back, brought it forward, and then coming close to half time, around the 38th or 40th minute, it was just before half time, I think it was, a ball, basically, Decore managed to get a ball near the byline, and he was actually fouled. He was fouled in the box. Now, we know Decore, he's not someone who likes to dive or make dramatics about it. He will stay on his feet, but I think in this situation, that was probably the one wrong move he made, because what he should have done in this situation, now he put a pass through, which was great, and we had an attempt at it, but nothing came of it. But rather than him staying on his feet and carrying on, if he would have went down, it should have been an absolute Stonewall penalty, because the player wasn't going for the ball. He went for Decore, took his legs, and Decore just sort of clambered over them to make the pass. And Decore was actually hit after that, shortly after that, because he actually does, you see, when it goes out for a corner, he's on the floor, and he's sort of feeling where the player is basically run his fucking studs through him. So in them situations, I do think he needs to say, you know what, screw it. No one else is playing with honour in this game, or not like that. You get what I mean? In that situation, he should have just said, you know what, you've taken me out here. If I don't go down, it's not a penalty, so down I go. And I don't mean like ham it up. Don't do what bloody Jota or Maguire tried to do, where you try and fabricate a foul from absolutely nothing. You just go down, you just go to your knees or feel your calf, and either they give it or they don't. At this point in time, simulation, unless you're wearing this badge, simulation doesn't get you a yellow card or anything, so what's the harm in it? But then again, we're wearing that badge, so yeah. No, that's actually an interesting point, that. Simulation has been, well, we don't want diving in football. And why, I mean, we don't want diving in football, so why do we still do it? Why have they removed the punishment for diving? Because numerous teams are very well known for it. Now, this isn't taking jabs at particular teams, but one in particular I remember is Eze at Crystal Palace. He is a phenomenal player, very light on his feet. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Richarlison used to be terrible for it when it came to playing for us. And I think he still has a little bit of a habit of it doing it when he was playing for Tottenham now. But Eze was terrible for it. Basically, if you put a tackle in on him and he feels a little slight nick, and I don't mean like, you catch the back of him. I mean literally, if he feels the waft of air pass him, he will go down as if he's just been hit by a sniper. I'm not hyperbole in that either. He does go quite dramatically. So I feel like they do need to bring back the whole ruling of simulation. If you are found simulation post-game when they investigate, you either get a post-game yellow card or you get a post-game red card, and you have to serve a suspension. That is something I feel like they should do, but I don't think they will, because as we know, the teams who do it now at the most frequent, should I say, are the teams that are part of the Sinister Six. So that being Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, and Spurs. Did I say Spurs twice? Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Man U, Man City, and Spurs. Yeah. If I've got that number mixed up, sorry. But yeah, those six are terrible for diving. Salah's terrible for it. Jota's terrible for it. Richarlison's terrible for it. Now, granted, he was bad with it when he was with us, but, Son is terrible for it. Fernandes is terrible for it. De Bruyne, he's terrible for it. Haaland is terrible for it. Hey. Saka, he's got a bit of a habit for it. Odegaard as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you can deceive the ref, that's now become part and parcel of the game. If you can deceive the ref, why not? That's the mentality around it. So I do think it's something that needs to be stamped out. But I am trailing way off target here. We're meant to be talking about United and we're meant to be talking about Everton and Man United. I don't know what the bloody hell. Thing is, it's late now. The game had finished at like 3 o'clock, but I had a great time in town. So, I'm doing this a bit later than usual. So yeah. So, end of the first half, 2-0 up, nice and comfortable. And to be honest, in the back of my mind, in the major part of my mind, I was thinking when we went into this in the half time, okay, come at them again in the second half, maybe do a refreshment with it, maybe bring Harrison, bring him inside, take Decore off, or, bring Decore off, put Alcaraz in the middle, and we just crack on. But unfortunately, Moyes had other ideas. So when we came out, no subs at half-time, but 5 minutes into it, Lindstrom comes off. Now, Moyes has actually said in his post-match interview that when Lindstrom come off, that was due to illness. So I'm assuming he's picked up a bug or something. And as you know, if you've ever played when you're not well, you get fatigued so quickly. So he has a decent run. He actually did put a good shift in. So well done for him for playing through illness. But as you know, if you're ill, you're ill. You're not really meant to be doing stuff like this. You're not meant to be really running your bollocks off when you're ill. So he played as long as he could. Ashley Young comes in, and from there, I do think that's where things started to slowly unravel. Now, here's the thing. The first goal, that was down to, 2 free kicks in rapid succession. The first free kick was due to Garnacho deciding to do a silver medal Olympic diving recreation. Basically, someone took the ball off him and he went down very, very easily. I mean, I've seen 5-6-year-olds playing and they don't go down that easy. He really hammed it up though. And Fernandes, as you know, going straight up into the ref's ear, yap. So get the free kick. Free kick goes in. Decore. Now, this is the thing. They haven't showed us I can't find the footage for the second free kick, because apparently it came off Decore's hand. That's what Fernandes was whinging into fucking the referee's ear. He kept, and this is another thing, Bruno Fernandes is a player, don't get me wrong, he's a skillful player, he's a talented player, but he is an absolute gobshite of a human being. All he ever does is whinge. I have never in my life, I mean, the only other person I can think of who's a bigger whinger of a footballer was Didier Drogba. Or even maybe, probably Gerrard as well. Gerrard was terrible for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm thinking of players that we've had that are terrible for it, but I can't think of any. Ashley Young, I know we used to have a habit of doing it, but that's prior to him starting with us. But Jesus Christ, I've never known someone to go so quick over to the referee and start cry-arsing because he hasn't got his own way. Because the free kick didn't work, it deflected off to Corey. Now, bear in mind, I think the hands was down here. His hands were down here when he took the jump, from my point of view, when I was in the stadium. And I'm trying to backtrack through a shit ton of memories here to suss it out in my head. And I don't remember Decore's hands coming up to get it. It looked like a header away. So I would like to see that footage again. If someone has that footage, let me know about it or send me a link to where it is because I'm curious on that one. But yeah, second free kick comes in. Basically, he's 5 yards forward. And second free kick, Pickford hadn't sorted his wall out, left himself planted, and from there, Fernandes was able to curl it. Nice little curl to Pickford's left side, and it was then 2-1. So that basically gave Man U the rocket up the arse that they needed, and from there, they just kept peppering at us, having a go. Now, don't get me wrong, we were going back at them. We were a little bit shell-shocked in a way, because we were so surprised that they actually scored. And we were trying to sort of get the ball out and try and push up. And the fans did kind of deflate a little bit. But granted, this is a bloody early game for us. These 12:30 games, I mean, could have done a 3 o'clock with this one. I wouldn't have been minded at all that much. Because of what they've done with the 3 o'clock game, in all honesty. But, hey, it's passed. But yeah, so they basically got another goal. Decent goal as well. Can't remember the name of the player who scored it. It's going to be right here. So he got a nice little hit on it. Clean hit. Hit it with his left foot. And the way he hit it, it sort of curled away and got past Pickford. So I do think Pickford could have made... If Pickford would have seen it earlier, if there wasn't any bodies, he might have got a palm to it. But I think that's one of those ones where... The way it's moving, it's always going away from the keeper, so it's going to be very difficult for him to get it. But yeah, so at that point, 2-2. We just... I'm not going to say we imploded or anything like that. We just kept going. We did. We pushed and pushed and pushed. Now, like I said, Alcaraz came on for Decore. Who else came on? Someone else came on. Can't even remember. It's completely slipped my mind who else came on. Someone else came on as well. Irabirnum, that's it. So Tim Irabirnum came on for James Garner. And then from there, we just carried on pushing. Now, Alcaraz, I do think he should have started over Decore. Now, granted, we might not have got that goal against Onana if Decore hadn't started. But then again, when you think about it, in another twist about it, the way Alcaraz and Beto link up as they're going up that field, I do think we might have had 3 goals in the first half rather than 2. Because he just has that thing about him where he knows how to play the people. Not in a way like diving or anything like that. He's got really good ability on his feet and he knows how people work when it comes to football. He knows if he drops the shoulder here and then goes there, they're going to be left over here because they think he's going to move away like that. So, maybe, I don't know, Brentford's away. I do think maybe start Alcaraz over to Corey. Couldn't hurt. But yeah, so near the end of the game, basically 5 minutes got added on. And in the first or even the second minute, there was a very, very blatant foul in the box on Ashley Young. So, it just got on again, had a nice clean hit, slammed the ball nice and low, and Onana managed to get a hand to it. And on the rebound, Ashley Young was going in to get the rebound, and you had De Ligt and Maguire in between them. De Ligt grabbed the sides of his shirt. Now, I am showing you this as close to replica, as close as a reenactment as possible. So De Ligt grabbed the shirt and pulled it behind him. So he's went like this. If someone does this to you, you're not getting away all that easy. Because bear in mind, he's pulling you back as you're going forward. That's a forward momentum alongside a backwards momentum. Now, there has been a few people going on saying, why did he fall forwards then? Now, here's the thing. Maguire also had the other side. If you look at the videos, look at the live action play, and if you're on YouTube, you can actually bring these down to, I think it's about a quarter speed. And if you're on premium, I think you can actually bring it down a little bit slower as well. If you watch the replay, you've got one person doing this, another person grabs his arm, his free arm, pulls it down as he's going through. And I think he also grabs the other side of his shirt. So he's basically got almost has two people doing this to him. So him falling forwards is a natural response. Now, don't get me wrong, he does hammer it up a bit. He does genuinely hammer up. He does go for the fall. But I genuinely do not think you're getting away from that, because chances are he's going to rip your fucking shirt. And you know what? That's something the Everton players need to do. If someone's got your shirt, you just keep running. You run as hard as you can. If they rip that shirt, you've got the evidence. You then pull up to the ref and you go, hang on, look at my bloody shirt. That's ripped. He's ripped my shirt. That's a shirt pull. You've got to give them the most evidence possible to say, right, that's a shirt pull. That's a foul. Because, and I mean, like I said, I've had many arguments about this with a lot of Manx and other fans, because they're going, oh no, it's not a penalty. And it's like, okay, why is it not a penalty? Oh, there wasn't enough contact. He has a shirt. He has a shirt. You do that to someone, you've just hindered their ability to freely move. And on top of that, when you're pulling the shirt, you're not going for a ball. You're going for the player. Now, I've done my referees course when I was 16. And they said, in the box, if you hinder a player's ability to move and you don't get the ball, that's a penalty. So, there's that one. And also, if I'm not mistaken, shirt pulling, that's almost as bad as grabbing someone's arm and pulling them away. You're not playing the ball, you're playing the man. So that's a penalty. Now, here's the thing. The referee actually pointed to the penalty spot and said, that's a penalty. And then VAR chirps up in his ear and says, we think you need to look at the angle. We don't think it's a penalty. However, in the rules, when it comes to VAR, it's a clear and obvious error. So let's say, for argument's sake, if Ashley Young, we'll say as a hypothetical. Let's say, for argument's sake, De Ligt wasn't in the situation and Harry Maguire had stepped in front of Ashley Young. Didn't have any line of sight of him, just stepped in front and Ashley Young had ran into him. And then he said, that's a penalty. That's when VAR could intervene. However, because De Ligt had grabbed him there and knew exactly where he was, he knew he was existing, he knew that the ball was out of his reach and he wasn't going to be able to get it. Harry Maguire's the exact same. He looked over his shoulder, he knew Ashley Young was there, he hindered him, he grabbed his shirt, he knows he's there, he did not go for the ball, he just stood still and grabbed. So he is actively stopping a player. I believe that is, in the terms of the rules, playing the man. Or that's, in some situations, that can also be considered a professional foul, which is a yellow card. So I would love for someone to argue against this and actually give me some decent evidence, because a lot of people are just saying, it's not a foul. I've had some people say it's not a foul because it wasn't given. It wasn't a foul because of this angle. Okay, sounds one angle says it's not a foul, but you've got 4 angles where it says it is a foul. Quite literally 4 angles. There's 4 other angles where they've shown it. And every single one of the other ones, it's a foul. The one that it wasn't a foul is from the away end stand going across, where you can only see Harry Maguire with his arm out, and then he moves it after he's pulled his shirt. So, I would love for someone to argue against this. Give me some bulletproof evidence that that wasn't a penalty, and I will retract the statement. But I have high doubts that you're going to be able to give me evidence, because as even the pundits, now bear in mind, a lot of pundits aren't exactly fazed by Everton. They don't really give a toss about us. And a lot of them are going, that's a penalty. That's a Stonewall penalty. You're looking at the wrong camera angle. That is a penalty. So, what's going on? I would love for the Referees Association or the Referees Cult or whatever the hell they're called to come out with an actual valid reason. I believe Ref Watch actually is on Monday night. I've never actually watched it before, funny enough. But Ref Watch is meant to be on Monday night, so I'd love to know what the referee has to say about this, because they haven't got a leg to stand on. The referee should have stood his ground and said, no, that's a penalty. Now, bear in mind, this referee today had an absolute howler of a game. Jesus Christ, he had one of the worst games I've seen from a referee in that stadium. And I saw Mark Clattenburg referee a game in our stadium. So for him to manage to make worse decisions than Clattenburg, all I can say is well done. Well done. You, oh my God, you've got the fucking Razzie of refereeing bloody awards, mate. I hope you do not referee in our stadium again, because what you did there was criminal. But yeah, so obviously penalty wasn't given, and shortly after that, that was it. That was full time. It's a very interesting thing. I was speaking to the Inclusive Hub. They run the boxing gym. It's run by Liam, who's a mad Evertonian. Really good guy as well. He does all the inclusive boxing and everything over there at Alton Bootle. And even he said there was idiots over X and all the other social media calling for Moyes out. Why? Why would any sane, sentient human being say that David Moyes shouldn't be refereeing Everton? Shouldn't be managing Everton? Because since he's been in, I think, let's put it this, the last 6 games we've had, he's won 4 and drawn 2. Now, bear in mind, the draws are Liverpool and Man United. Granted, Man United's on a bit of a downward spiral, but take into account Man United, in essence sense, are meant to be still a big team. Liverpool, as much as it hurts me, are a big team. I mean, Spurs, granted, they're on a downward spiral themselves. They're still considered a big team. Brighton are a decent team. So you've had 4 games there with wins and 2 with draws. So what's the problem? Honestly, I want you guys, whoever's in the Moyes out clan or group, let me know why you want Moyes out, because from what I've seen with Dyche versus what I've seen with Moyes, Moyes is quite literally one of the best managers we've had since Carlo Ancelotti. And I'm saying that without any exaggeration. He has transformed this team that I know a lot of people have said the players are not good. He's made these players into good players. He's got them playing close football. He's got Pickford going from punting half a mile down the road to playing out from the back with his defenders, having the confidence of his defenders to play from the back and push it upfield. He's got them playing nice tight triangles. He's got them playing with tactics rather than go out there and just do whatever you want. Because that was what it was like with Dyche. He had them playing defensive football. He said to the strikers, he had the strikers basically having a secondary role as defender. Whereas Moyes said, right, Beto, you're a striker. I want you to stay as far upfield as possible. If you come into the defensive corner, sound, but get out and get back up that field so that you can be a striker again. He's getting them to play in their actual positions rather than playing, you guys are the back 4, you guys are the other back 4, and you guys are the back 2. You're going to be part of the other 2 back 4s. So, I know this went off the rails a little bit, I do apologise. But yeah, so long story short, Man United had 12 men on the pitch today, to put it nicely. They honestly did. Linesman, you know what? The other funny thing is actually as well, I know a lot of fans are so quick to jump on it. And I mean, when I was in the stadium today, there was a couple of moments there, and I will hold my hands up. Everton fans, we are quick to basically call foul on anything, but there was a couple of moments that did actually make me laugh. So, in the game, the ball was moving down the line, and I heard fans around me screaming that ball's out, and it's literally on the line. Like, the ball itself was on the line. Either sides of the ball was still on the line. So you couldn't say it was out, and they're going, it's out. And I went, it's on the line. I looked at one of them and said, it's on the line. And he goes, oh. And then 10 minutes later, well, actually not 10 minutes later, it was in the second half. Very similar thing. But this time, the ball was basically line inwards. And you're going, line, line, line. And I looked at them and went, what? It's not out again. You know, no. Line, look, it's out. It's like, not fucking out. It's selling. So I feel like the fans are so quick to jump on negativity. We do seem to chase negativity for some reason. We seem to have a bit of a... Now, it's bad for me to say, but there are some fans in our stadium, unfortunately, that have got a bit of a victim's mentality. It's, oh, woe's be me. Everton always hard done by. Don't get me wrong. We do get the raw end of the stick sometimes. We do get it. And I'll hold my hands up when we've had the run of the green. I mean, last game, Crystal Palace, we had the run of the green. Anthony Taylor was honestly, he played for us in some situations. He did give fouls that shouldn't have really been given. But case in point, this is what the Premier League's like. The refereeing is atrocious. I do think what the FA should be looking at is investing in foreign referees who come from overseas in different leagues to referee here in the Prem. Because I do think a bit of bias does actually exist when it comes to football. And now I know what they do. They get, let's say, someone from the Midlands to referee, say, Everton versus Chelsea or something like that, or they'll get them from Newcastle. But what you got to take into account there is the team that they support might have something against the team that they are refereeing. So you need to take that into consideration. So I do think if you have some Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, Italian, if you have some of these referees coming in with basic fundamental English, then you might have a bit more of a fair game. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think anyway? If you want to leave me your opinions, put them down in the comments below. If you like this, you know what to do. Also, I am trying to build up my fan base here as much as I can. I want to try and get my reach as far as possible. So if you know any fellow Evertonians who would like this content, why not put it down? Send it over to them, honestly. Just say to them, hey, this guy does a lot of YouTube videos. He has interesting opinions. He talks a lot. He's good for when you're doing like the Sunday roast or anything. Have him going in the background or something to listen to. Yeah, just send it over to a friend or a family who's a toffee. I do think people will enjoy this. But yeah, in any case, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekends. It wasn't a win, but we didn't lose either. It feels like a loss, but it wasn't a loss. We still got 1 point out of it, and we are on the up. So let's take that. Let's try and see the silver line in it. But again, guys, for the final time, enjoy the rest of your weekends, and up the fucking toffees. Peace.